Hello, this is W5JDA. I'm going to do a tabletop review of the Citadel model 1911 A1 full-size chambered in 9mm. First, let's do the safety check. As you see, there is nothing in the magazine and there is nothing in the chamber. You'll have to excuse my shaky hand while I film this. Reasons why I bought this particular model of 1911 were, number one, it costs about $500 at Academy Sports and Outdoors, which, when you're on a budget, that is pretty good. You can always upgrade everything later on as you get the money to do so. The number two reason was I always wanted a 1911. I just didn't want the cost of having to buy 45 ACP ammunition or having the kickback from it. Like I said, I like the recoil of the 9mm Luger, and it makes it easier for me to put rounds on target. I also bought this particular handgun because I shouldn't do that, but the extended grip safety and the rounded off hammer there. I've shot 1911s that didn't have those and ended up with nasty little cases of hammer bite. I also bought it because it had the skeletonized trigger, but another reason why I bought it was advertised to be the best trigger on the market, that you would not need to do a trigger job on this gun. Well, that seems to be true. You do not need a trigger job when you do this, when you buy this gun. Pardon me. It has a very nice, very crisp trigger straight out of the box. It is awesome. It is one of the best triggers I've pulled in a long time. Other features of this handgun include ambidextrous thumb safety, Coco Bolo wood grips. I like these. They feel good in my hand. Double diamond, of course. Novak style sights, which to Legacy Sports, they need some white dots on them. It has a full-length guide rod, Parkerized finish, which y'all can see here, and these awesome front serrations, which I like, along with these awesome back serrations too. They're pretty aggressive. They make it easy to rack the slide. Also included with this firearm are two 9-round magazines with welded butt plates. It's not going to focus on it, but anyways, I don't like having welded butt plates. I'm a tinkerer. I like to be able to take things apart, and with my magazines I like to clean them thoroughly, take the springs out, release the tension off of them, take the followers out, clean those up real good, and I won't be able to do that with these. Maybe I'll be able to get some from Wilson Combat later on and sell these off, but for now they'll do. Some of my dislikes of this firearm include the sights. These Novak style sights, they are not zeroed in. You'll have to use some Kentucky windage. Mine tends to shoot low. It could be about 45 feet and aiming at the X in the middle of a B-27 target, and it will hit in the 7 ring. And the sight picture is pretty horrible too. I'll show you some pictures of how I have to aim using the Kentucky windage in the end of the sight picture here. Other dislikes of this firearm include the plastic main spring housing. It makes the gun feel cheap. Also, it appears that they have a plastic pin holding in the main spring housing. Also, I have big thumbs. These extended thumb safeties tend to get in the way. I usually end up having to put one thumb on top of them when I'm shooting it. And another thing I dislike is the full-length guy rod. And I only dislike it because it's so uncomfortable to remove that plug. It makes you want to go out and buy a special bushing wrench just to do it. And I don't feel like spending the money on a bushing wrench. I'd just rather replace the guide rod and such. I'll show you a couple other dislikes here after I field strip the gun. Other dislikes that I have of this firearm also include some of the polishing that they did on it. You can see here on the top of the barrel that it appears that they did a very cheap job of polishing it. It looks crappy to me. Also, now that may look fine, but it can be, how shall I say it, it can be done a bit better. Maybe a little bit of flitz will help. Excuse my shaking hand. And also there on the feed ramp, I can actually sit there and see where my rounds were hitting the feed ramp and then having to come up. So I'll give that a pretty good sanding there and hit it with some flitz and make that as smooth as glass. Now, I know this might also sound silly, but the roll mark on the slide, I'm sorry, I'm one of those old-fashioned guys. If I'm going to put my name on something, I want it to stand out. This just does not stand out. It looks like junk to me. It looks cheap, and it looks like they didn't take any pride in putting it together. Anyways, that is my tabletop review. Thank you for watching. Please rate and subscribe. This is W5JDA saying have a nice night.